Hey, Shalom Israel. Yahba Shema Shah Brakatham. Yahweh Shema Thun by Shem Yahweh Shah. Listen, we about to come up. We coming up on the Lord's 54th annual Passover, man. It's a whole week of activities, man. We gonna be getting it in. You better come on through. Be there, be square. Look, Wednesday, we got the lamb slaughter with Captain Akkad, man, doing it up from 1:30 to 5:30 that Wednesday. We having it at Custom Meats, man. 1921 Strickland Road. That's down in Clayton, North Carolina. And then we got the King's Bowling, man. 9 p.m. until, you understand, 9 p.m. until. And then at 10 p.m. we also concurrently got the Paint the Town Red going on. That's down at Club with the club promotion with Party Boy, man. They're going to be getting it in. And also from 10 to 2, we got at the Botanical Lounge, 419 Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. We got the Botanical Lounge. Man, we're going to get it in Thursday from 10 to 2 p.m. We got the Black Wall Street Tour. That's down in Durham, man, at 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Then, also from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., we're going to be rolling to the Stagville Slave Plantation, man. Commander General Yohana going to be speaking at both of them, man. He's going to be speaking in both. Then at 7 p.m. to midnight, we got the all-black party, boy, down in Durham at the Durham Armory, 212 Foster Street. Listen, that's $25 per person. But if you pay your $200 Passover fee in full, before that, you get in the black party free. We having a jam. We jammed it out last year with Hebrew Academy. We're going to make it bigger this year. The black party coming up. Look, remember, free if you pay your Passover fee. Friday, 10 in the morning to 2 p.m., we having a kids party at Adventure Landing, man. They're going to be getting it in with the children. That's in Raleigh. $30 per child, man. We're going to be getting it in with the children. I might be there, man. I love the children. Hell, 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. We got class, of course, with General Hyman. Y'all know how that go. Come on now. He going to be dropping the scripture breakdown class at 10 p.m. to midnight. We rolling over to the live jazz band called Reggie Bowie Project, man. The Reggie Bowie Project going to be getting it in, doing live jazz. That's at the Sheraton Ballroom. The Sheraton Ballroom is one of the hotels we got reserved, the main hotel. 421 South Salisbury, man, Street. That's in Raleigh, too. Saturday, that's the big day. Come on now. 5 p.m., the Lord's 54th annual Passover. $200 per person, man. Come on, bring it in. That lamb, the bread, the wine, the strong drink, the brotherhood, the sisterhood. It's a family reunion, y'all. Y'all better come through. Y'all better come through, man. And then Sunday, y'all can chill all day after the Passover, but at 7 p.m., we having a feast of unleavened bread, man. Unleavened bread, where we're going to eat more of that unleavened bread. We're going to eat more lamb that's left over, and we're going to drink, and we're going to still party, man. You know what I'm saying? Listen, 7 p.m. until we go home when you're ready to go home. We're going to do it up. Just be safe, be professional. You know how we do it, One West. Listen, nobody does it like One West ISUPK. Y'all know that. And nobody can mess with Commander General Yohana or the ISUPK except those who mess with Commander General Yohana and the ISUPK. Shalom. Shalom. Come through. Be
I got you. Let it vibe real quick. Look. The city eyes. The
it's time to bogart. My God, a real nigga, cause he wasn't no flaw. Posted on the corner like a watchdog. Family secure, got that shotty in the closet by the mob ball. Fuck what they heard, tell them it's all true. Be cautious, that foundation falls till you fall through. They gon' fall. Look, I keep this shit 50 times 2. Ain't no more heart in this game, I'm John Q. Colder than the avalanche, way above average. Revenge taste sweet, told him make me an apple crisp. Left us in the valley full of bones, this where hope found. Child become a man, dark sands get broke down. Riding through Evanston with Mark Quad. Telling me how the crackers turn his childhood to a ghost town. Focus up, nigga, I lay that game down. I feel his pain, cause nothing is the same now. Let my light shine like heaven through a rain cloud. Glock have a fit like my child, no tangent. Try to warn them niggas, we bear arms like tarantula. Them other niggas rap, I make anthems. I really seen profits under this banner. Make my enemies bow down on camera. Told my design I wanted black and white like a panda. I'm better than that nigga that sunk dirty Diana. Look, I move like a Brazilian, precious cargo. Spirit ancient, but I got a new semi-auto. Wave that bitch around like where's Wardo. Sleep if they won't, I cut through they Z's like I'm Zorro. Pay me for his name, so I gotta keep that steel clutch. Trust me, I'm not what you think. I squeeze till it click like Dorothy when the heels touch. The world got me dumb, I don't feel much. Ride with Yara down, just left the state bridge. Looking for a bitch better than Baby's kid. Remember I dropped Quiet Storm, I've been gone ever since. Still in the field, fuck them niggas on the fence, yeah.
The beat.
I don't know who, somebody need to hear this. Y'all don't speak Hebrew, that's Yiddish. How the fuck you try to label us anti-Semitic? We the Israelites, blacks, native Hispanics. The Germans getting locked up for the Holocaust. Meanwhile, black people still up in the Holocaust. 100 million of us died in the transatlantic. 6 million died, y'all want the world to never forget it. You can never be a Jew, you a Ashkenaz. This ain't a star dum-dum, a gun that would die. Yeah, Yeezy told the truth and got ostracized. Not one person in the Bible had on a yarmulke. We were slaves in America like we was in Egypt. Y'all don't even fit the curses in the Torah neither. Y'all was blind to the truth, I had to make it clear. How Jerusalem, your land, your people came from Europe. That was 1947, your menorah got 9 sticks, it's really only 7. Yeah, it's us against the world, Armageddon. This what happened when you inherit lies from your ancestors. Y'all the synagogue of Satan with them black hats. Your whole nation sitting ducks, Aflacs. Bunch of thieves and culture vultures, ain't nothing kosher. To tell the truth, you vagabonds don't have a culture. Macedonia, Alexander and Philip, you a convert, so tell me, how the fuck is you Israel? That don't make you the people just cause you live there. Why my people can't hate your people like y'all hate Hitler? All the prophets was black and was called nigga. Y'all don't even fit the description that's in the scriptures. Abraham, all the way down to Jacob, we the real Jews. Y'all don't study Christ, y'all follow the Talmud. Keep it real, yeah, let's keep it real. Cold hard truth, it give you chills. Say y'all Jewish cause y'all ain't really them. About to do them like Hammond, this the Feast of Purim. UPK undefeated, this an easy win. We was born fighting, y'all the evil twin. Jacob took hold of his heel, then out came his little red bastard and they kosher deals. It's only 12 tribes, y'all trying to make it 13. Esau despised his birthright, the Lord cursed him. He ain't the devil, who is? I'm still searching. Ask your rabbi why he get them babies herpes. I don't know what's worse, that or you claiming that you a Maccabee. I'm about to cancel, everybody try to cancel ye. I ain't afraid to speak, that's what I do. They riding to the core, I'm just judging them by their fruit. Cause they ain't suffering curses. If I was carnal, I promise I'd punch you in person. I know this an uncomfortable subject. They making millions off our culture and black people suffering from it. Yeah, they don't believe in Christ, they the Antichrist. Make a living off of niggas, they a parasite. I ain't afraid to tell the truth, niggas terrified. I'm about to go DEFCON 4, I ain't satisfied.
That is proof. That is absolute proof that they know we are the real Jews. He got the records. Go find me a white Jew on any archaeology in Egypt anywhere. You will never find a piece of archaeology with white people as slaves in Egypt. So don't tell me that they were slaves and it's their identity, and they know it. The Lord knows the blasphemy of you so-called white people that say you are Jews and you are not Jews. You are not the people of the law. You are not God's chosen people. God's chosen people are living in the ghettos of America. God's chosen people are in poverty and depression in the streets of America. God's chosen people are walking around in America with no identity. That's where God's chosen people are.
Buck roll.
Nigga like this used to have that white bitch popping on the night shift. Now I'm one westward sharper than an ice pick on you rappers' necks, and it's feeling like some vice grips. Yeah, that's light shit. Send my bro a kite quick. Times of war, we ain't forget about you. Keep your light lit. Rappers can't see. Most of them scared to witness. Go and close your eyes. There's one right here for the trenches. Bad bitches, natural hair or extensions. Hood niggas that'll probably grip like some dentures. Brothers on them fences. 23 and 1 out. Praying that that commissary hit before it run out. Bitches on the gram, dog filter with their tongue out. Couldn't stay home because they found the dugout. Closed casket, burner in the low jacket. My co-captain, riding on these whole rappers. My hoes fabulous. Now I don't mean that derogatory, but I'm a player and there's no my women riding for me. I avoided Maury. I got 2 jets. If I can't make it through for them, then I'm useless. Sit down that roof, Chris, with a couple bosses. After the war, just to count our losses. It's not many. You see a smile on my face, but I'm not friendly. Going on my waist, sipping white Henny. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know light. Gotta got my heart with my bow tie. Waiting on the swerve in my whole life. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know light. Gotta got my heart with my bow tie. Living in the swerve in my whole life. My whole life. It's so melodic. When I be dropping this ebonics, this ghetto phonics, they got me on the level supersonic. My bomb atomic, and you know where you can find me. Somewhere probably folding this paper origami. My name is pure as the Sani, my wave is like a tsunami. I went from 0 to 100, feeling like Ricky Bobby. I made a deal with the Reaper, got a couple wives, they some keepers. Talk a lot of shit, but you can't walk a mile in my sneakers. Bitches go to Miami, come home with change features. Now she got a BBL, her ass fatter. Trying to show up all them niggas that laughed at her. Now when they see her, they only wanna fuck her. They just wanna touch her, they don't wanna cuff her. They just wanna come and kick it with her like a punter. Turned her to a runner, now it's all aboard the train. Fenty on her face, but it's not concealing the pain, it's a shame. So I'm in the hood like some rap snacks. I know niggas kill you and your mama for a scat pack. Dark tint, matte black, they do it for half that. Had you like 90s Missy in a fucking trash bag. I'm from Philly, we don't do bank accounts, just cash app. I spit a verse and I just watch the time slow. This that guy flow, this that shit that rappers die for. This that uncut Taha Wall straight from Pablo Escobar. I be at the bar like Moscato. They think it's effort, but no, this that block work. Make countermeasures, take pleasures, making an op hurt. Light is in the sky, cause every verse is a concert. My mind work at speed y'all can't fathom. Listen to the words of a champion. It can. The streets need another anthem. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know light. Gotta got my heart with my bow tie. Waiting on the swerve in my whole life. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know light. Gotta got my heart with my bow tie. Living in the swerve in my whole life. My whole life.
Hey, Shalom, Israel, Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shah, Barakatham, Yahweh Shamar, Alatham, Bashim, Yahweh Shah. This is the ISUPK, started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. And since 1969, we've been teaching the truth concerning the Bible, that so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians are the 12 tribes of Israel. You're tuned in with Priest and Officer of 500 Howard Mar, and this is ISUPK, Kentucky. And this is episode 3 of what you didn't learn in history class. We finna get into tonight, man. We finna get into, since it's so-called Black History Month, we finna get into some real Black history. Like I said, we finna get into the royal families of Europe. We're gonna start out with the article. It was originally written by Benjamin Franklin. And Benjamin Franklin is gonna go into his fear of German immigrants. Now, keep in mind, why would he be afraid of German immigrants? And he's going to go into detail about who these Germans were. And we've got some images, some pictures to get into. And then I got a scripture for you at the end. So let's go ahead and get into it. So first, let's get into some definitions here real quick. Before we get into the article, let's get a definition of a word that we're going to see pretty often. And this word is swarthy. So let's get into this definition of this word swarthy before we get into the article. All right, swarthy. It's an adjective, dark color, especially of skin, from the 1580s, unexplained alteration of swarthy, from swart plus y, related to swarthiness. All right. Now let's get into where the word swarthy actually comes from. It said it's a combination of the word swart and adding a y. All right, so swart, it's Old English, black, dark, of night, clouds, also figurative, wicked, infamous, from Proto-Germanic swarta, Old Friscan, Old Saxon, Middle Dutch, Dutch, Old Norse, German, Gothic, dark-colored, black, from the Indo-European root word dark, black, true Germanic word surviving in the continental languages but displaced in English by black. So this word swarthy, we're going to hear this quite often in its breakdown tonight. So keep this word swarthy in mind. Swarthy is a word that means black. All right, so let's get into this article first. Again, the article was from Benjamin Franklin, and it was his fear of German immigrants. All right, Benjamin Franklin on German immigrants to the colonies. Now, the colonies being what will become the United States of America. All right, so Benjamin Franklin, it says, note, this resource introduces Benjamin Franklin's concern that German immigrants would not integrate. It can be used to introduce the continuities and changes in anti-immigration prejudice over time. Now, why would Ben Franklin be prejudiced toward Germans? We finna get into it. Let's walk. One common stereotype about immigrants is that they will not integrate into their new homeland. Some people like Benjamin Franklin, and the letters below go further. They express fear that the newcomers will replace the culture, traditions, and language of the communities in which they settle. Researchers have proven again and again that immigrants almost always want to integrate and fit in. Moreover, in many ways, 21st century immigrants to the U.S. are integrating faster than before. Despite such research, prejudice persists. While many of the founders of the United States were immigrants or the children of immigrants, that does not mean that all of them expressed tolerance toward newcomers, particularly toward newcomers they perceived as not like them. So Benjamin Franklin is going to get into these German immigrants, and we're going to find out why he had prejudice, and it says here, perceived as not like them. All right, so Benjamin Franklin, observations concerning the increasing of mankind, peopling of countries. Over 20 years before the independence of the United States from Great Britain, Benjamin Franklin noted the rapid increase of German population of North America, and he wasn't happy. In a 1755 essay titled Observations Concerning the Increasing of Mankind, People in the Countries, he reflected on the kind of people he would like to see settle the colonies. All right. It says Europe is generally full settled with husbandmen, manufacturers, etc., and therefore cannot know how much increase in people. America is chiefly occupied by Indians who subsist mostly by hunting. But as a hunter of all men requires the greatest quality of land from whence to draw his substance, the husbandman subsisting on much less, the gardener on still less, the manufacturer requiring least of all. The Europeans found America as fully settled as it well could be by hunters, yet these having large tracts were easily prevailed on to part with portions of the territory to newcomers, who did not much interfere with the natives and furnished them with many things they wanted. Land being thus plenty in America, and so cheap that as a laboring man he understands that husbandry can in a short time save money enough to purchase a piece of new land sufficient for a plantation, whereon he may subsist the family. Such are not afraid to marry, for if they even look far enough forward to consider how their children, when grown up, are to be provided for, they see that more land is to be had at rates equally easy, all circumstances considered. There are supposed to be now upwards of 1 million English souls in North America, though 'tis thought scarce 80,000 have been brought overseas. And yet perhaps there's not one the fewer in Britain, but rather more on account of the employment of the colonies afford to manufacturers a home. This million Dublin suppose, but once in 25 years will another century be more than the people of England, and the greatest number of Englishmen will be on this side of the water. What an accession of power to the British Empire by sea as well as land. What an increase of trade and navigation. What number of ships and seamen. We have been here but a little more than 100 years, and yet the force of our privateers in the late war united was greater, both in men and guns, than that the whole of the British Navy in Queen Elizabeth's time. All right, now he's finna get into it. It says, that since the detachments of English from Britain sent to America, there have been places at home so soon supplied and increased so largely here. Why should the Palatine Boers, Germans, now keep this name Palatine. Now, Palatine is a region of Germany where these immigrants were coming from. But keep this name Palatine, keep this name in mind right here. It says, why should the Palatine Boers, Germans, be suffered to swarm our settlements and by herding together establish their language and manners to the exclusion of ours? Why should Pennsylvania, founded by the English, become a colony of aliens who will shortly be so numerous as to Germanize us instead of our Anglifying them? And they will never adopt our language or customs any more than they can acquire our complexion. Now, why would Ben Franklin be worried about the Germans not being able to acquire his complexion? What was it about the complexion of these Germans? Now he's finna get into it. It says, which leads me to add one remark, that the number of purely white people in the world is proportionately small. All Africa is black or tawny. Now, tawny, the word tawny would be what we call light skin today, right? Asia, chiefly tawny. America, exclusive of newcomers, wholly so. And in Europe, the Spaniards, Italians, French, Russians, Swedes are generally of what we call a swarthy complexion, as are the Germans also. Now, we just read the definition of this word swarthy. This word swarthy means black. So again, Ben Franklin is saying is that the Spaniards, the Italians, the French, the Russians, the Swedes, and the Germans are of a swarthy complexion. And again, swarthy means black. All right, it says, I wish their numbers were increased. And while we are, as I may call it, scouring our planet by clearing America of woods, and so making this side of our globe reflect a brighter light to the eyes of the inhabitants of Mars or Venus, why should we, in such the sight of superior beings, darken its people? Why increase the sons of Africa by planting them in America, where we have so far an opportunity by excluding all blacks and tawnies of increasingly the lovely white and red? Now, he's telling you right here, Ben Franklin's telling you right here, that the so-called white race, or the so-called oppressor, our oppressor here in America, is really the red man. And again, Esau means red. That's why they're Esau in the Bible. All right. So he says, why increase the sons of Africa by planting them in America, where we have so fair an opportunity by excluding all blacks and tawnies? Again, tawny means light skin. Of increasing the lovely white and red, but perhaps I am partial to the complexion of my country. All right. So we're going to go ahead and stop there. And let's get into these let's get into some pictures. So again, keep that word Palatine in mind. Now again, the word swart means black. The word swarthy means black. All right. So the first image that we're going to get into. All right, we've all heard the Constantine, Emperor Constantine the Great was a black man. This is his image right here. So this is Constantine. Constantine the Great, he was the one responsible. He was the one responsible for the councils in Nicaea, where the beliefs of the Christian church were established. All right. This is Frederick I of Barbarossa. You see the brother in the middle. All right, that's the time period he lived in. So this is Holy Roman Emperor Frederick I of Barbarossa. All right, so that's Frederick I. All right, let's see this next image here. All right, the next image, let's see here. All right, this is Emperor Maximilian I of Germany. See the German flag in the background. He was a Holy Roman Emperor. And as you see, this is a dark-skinned brother here. So this is Emperor Maximilian. All right, this is Robert the Bruce, King of the Scots, 1274 to 1329. So he would have been King of Scotland. All right. So that was the time period he would have lived in. All right, this is Holy Roman Emperor Henry II. He lived from 973 to 1024. And this would have been during the so-called Dark Ages. So this is Henry II. All right, this is from the old Saxon Chronicles here. And it shows that before we got involved into Christianity, we knew what our culture was. So you got the Shield of David in the background on the flag here, the Shield of David on the flag. So this is from the old Saxon Chronicles here. All right, next image. Again, since this is so-called Black History Month, let's get into some real Black history. All right, the next image. All right, this is Francis I, King of France, 1494 to 1547. It says a goodly prince, stately of countenance, merry in cheer, brown colored, great eyes, high nose, big lipped, fair breast and shoulders, small legs and long feet. And here's the source right here. The History of the Reign of Henry VIII by Sharon Turner, 1828. There's the source. So we got an image of Francis I of France, and there's the source. Then I got an image. Of his son. This is Henry II. Henry II, son of Francis I, 1519 to 1559. And you see, he's got the French crown jewels right here, or one of them anyway. All right, so that's Henry II. All right, who do we get next? Again, this is really getting into some real Black history here. All right. Now this is Frederick the Wise and John the Steadfast. All right, 1463 to 1525. Now, Frederick the Wise, these are two brothers right here. All right. Now they were what was called electors in Saxony. And what the electors' job was is they were pretty much the hired bodyguards for Martin Luther. Because after Martin Luther nailed his grievances to the front door of the Catholic Church had a hit out on Martin Luther. So the electors were pretty much his paid bodyguards, and these were two of them right here. And as you see, he's got the German flag right here. So this is Frederick the Wise and John the Steadfast. Salakia. Bear with me, we got a little technical difficulty. All right, we just got a little technical difficulty. All right, we got it back on. All right, so again, like I said, this class is on the Black royal families in Europe. All right, so this is Alessandro de' Medici, Duke of Florence, and his older sister, Catherine. All right, this is the image of these two right here. 1510 to 1537. All right, now I know a lot of people have seen the image of this brother right here. Now this is Emperor Charles V, 1500 to 1558. Now Charles V, he was a Holy Roman Emperor. He was also Emperor of the Inca. He was the emperor in charge when the conquistadors were running through South America. He was the emperor, Holy Roman Emperor, King of Spain and Portugal, and he was the last emperor of the Inca Empire. So this is Charles V. All right, this is his younger brother, Ferdinand. All right, 1503 to 1564. This is his younger brother, Ferdinand. All right, now, this is Charles V's son, Philip II. He was son of Charles V, 1527 to 1598. Now, this was one of the men that was responsible for the 80 Years' War and the 30 Years' War. And consequently, after the 80 Years' War and the 30 Years' War, you started to see less and less Black royal families in Europe because all of them were fighting each other. All right, all of them were fighting each other. And then after the 80 Years' War and the 30 Years' War was over, after all these royal families were fighting each other, so-called oppressors just stepped in. And then at this point, we started to see Spanish and Portuguese families being shipped to West Africa. We started to see French royal families or descendants of French royal families. They ended up in the Louisiana territory. And I've got a source about the Stuart family and members of the Jacobite Rebellion. They were put on ships and sent to the Caribbean. So this was Philip II. All right. This is Edward VI. He was son of Henry VIII. You see, we got him on the money right here. So there's no denying this right here. He's right on the money. So Edward VI, 1537 to 1555. He was son of Henry VIII. So all right. So next image. This is Elizabeth I. And Elizabeth I was one of the wives of Henry VIII. So we have, I think this is actually on a medallion right here. All right. So the source, it says right here, portly of body, yet she was a swarthy complexion. It's right here. Portly of body, yet she was a swarthy complexion, not very amiable, which occasioned the King of Spain, Philip II, we just saw an image of him, after the marriage to neglect her. But it says she was of swarthy complexion. And we read earlier that swarthy means black. And here's the source. The History of the Life, Bloody Reign, and the Death of Queen Mary, 1682, page 51. So if anybody wants to check the source, it says Elizabeth I had a swarthy complexion. And this is an image of her right here. Nice, so we got Elizabeth I. All right. Next image, we'll get into, see what we got here. All right. So this is the House of Stuart. We've all heard about the Stuart family, King James and them. We got the Moore on the family crest. All right, and this is the source right here. It says, the son of King Charles II, by the Duchess of Portsmouth, was carried by his mother into France in the reign of King James and left France in the reign of King William, when he declared himself for the religion and the constitution of his country. He is a gentleman, good-natured to fault, very well bred, and hath many valuable things in him. He is an enemy to the ruffians, very credulous, well-shaped, black complexion, much like King Charles, not 30 years old. So it's talking about Charles, the Duke of Richmond, much like King Charles and King James. It says a black complexion. And again, we got the Moor in the coat of arms right here. All right. All right, so this is Charles. This is an image of Charles II. And Charles II was the Charles that was mentioned in the previous picture. All right, so we got Charles II. All right. All right, so we got King James. All right. King James of the 1611 King James Version of the Bible. This is him. And because of Commander General Yohana and the ISUPK, we know the King James was black man. There's his image right here. King James Charles Stewart, 1566 to 1625. All right, this is the great-grandson of King James. This is James Francis Edward Stewart, 1688 to 1766. Now, James Edward Stewart, his father started the Royal African Company. All right, if anybody's watching, Google Royal African Company, and this man's father was responsible for it. So that's James Francis Edward Stewart. And then this was the source right here I talked about earlier. Like I said, after the 80 Years' War and the 30 Years' War, we started to see a decline of the black royal families in Europe. Like I said, the Spanish and Portuguese, they ended up being kicked out and sent to West Africa. The French royal families and their descendants ended up in the Louisiana territory. And after the Jacobite expulsion in 1745, this is the source right here, Jacobite Gleanings, all right? And there were like 218 members of the Jacobite Rebellion. A lot of them had the last name Stewart, so they were King James and them family, and they were sent to the Caribbean. And here's the source right here. All right, Google Jacobite Gleanings. It will go through all the names of the people that were on the ship logs that were sent to the Caribbean. All right. So the next image. All right, this is the French papacy of Louis IX, circa 1250. Right. All right, the next image is going to be, I've got an image of Louis XIV and the source. All right, so Louis XIV. All right, this is Louis XIV. Now he's in the Moorish garb because his mother was a Moor. His mother was a so-called Muslim. All right, so this is Louis XIV. Here's the source. It says Louis XIV had arched eyebrows. You see it in the image. An aquiline nose, that just means a slender nose. You see it right here. And a brown, complexion. It says Louis XIV had a brown complexion. Here's the source: James Peller Malcolm, Ancient History and Modern Description of London, compiled from parochial records, archives of various foundations of the Harleian myths and other authentic sources, 1802. This is Louis XIV. All right. Now, Louis XIV, this is who Louisiana was named after. The Louisiana Territory, Louisiana Purchase you learned about in school, but they didn't tell you that the Louisiana Territory was named after Louis XIV. This is him right here. All right, so that's Louis. All right, the next image. Again, this is what you never learned in history class, episode 3. All right, so we got this is Marie Antoinette. She's got royal pearls. Now these pearls were immediately confiscated and smuggled out of the country after she was beheaded. All right, so this is the source. It says Marie was not considered beautiful by the standards of the day. Again, around this time period, we have a decline in the Black royal families of Europe. So it's going to talk about the new standard of beauty. It says Marie was not considered beautiful by the standards of the day, which required a pale complexion, blonde hair, and blue eyes. Marie was blessed with an abundance of dark curls, a swarthy complexion, and brown eyes. Again, that word swarthy means black. Source: Josephine Wilkinson, Louis XIV, Power and Glory. Here's your source. All right. So this is Marie Antoinette. And Marie Antoinette was married to Louis XVI. Now, Louis XVI, this is who Louisville, Kentucky was named after. Now, I told y'all Louisville, Kentucky was named after a black man. All right. So this is Louis XVI. So I've got another source for Louis XIV. It says Louis XIV's swarthy complexion and prominent nose were typically Bourbon. Now keep that name Bourbon in mind because the Bourbons had a certain look. I'll show you in a second. So this is Louis XIV. Louis XIV's swarthy complexion and prominent nose were typically Bourbon. Source: Richard Wilkins, Louis XIV. And then I've got a source for Louis XV. It says Louis XV was the handsomest youth in France. He had a swarthy complexion. Again, swarthy means black. So Louis XV was the handsomest youth in France. He had a swarthy complexion. Here's your source: J. Dodsley, The Annual Register, or a view of the history, politics, and literature for the years 1774, 1775. So if Louis XIV was black, Louis XV was black, Louis XVI is, you got it. All right, so this is an image of Louis XVI. He was the husband of Marie Antoinette. They were both beheaded at the same time. And this was the last of that family to rule France. This was the last black family to rule France. And again, this is who Louisville, Kentucky was named after right here, Louis XVI. Now, remember I told you that Bourbon had a certain look. This is Louise Henriette de Bourbon, 1726 to 1759. She was Duchess of Austria. This is her right here. Another member of Louis and them family. All right, this is Isabella of Parma, Archduchess of Austria, and this is the granddaughter of Louis XV. This is the granddaughter of Louis XV. All right, and again, their families were the last of the families, the last of the black royal families in France. All right. So again, like I said, after the 30 Years' War and the 80 Years' War, you have the decline of the black royal families in Europe. So you had the Bourbon family was at war with the Habsburg family in Spain and Portugal, and they were at war with the Stuart family, King James and them. All right. But there was one more after France, Spain, and Portugal fell off. We had the UK. They had one more family rule from Germany, and it was that same from that same Palatine region, that Benjamin Franklin was worried about. So we had one more black family from Germany that ended up ruling the UK after the Stuart family. All right, and this is George III and Charlotte of Mecklenburg. This is who Charlotte, North Carolina is named after her right here. This is Charlotte of Mecklenburg, and this is George III. All right, now George III was the king of Britain during the Revolutionary War. This is who George Washington and them was fighting against. This is who George Washington and them was trying to get free from. All right. Now I know you've never heard this in your history class coming up. All right. But this is an actual image of George III. He was the king of Great Britain during the American Revolution. And I've got your source right here. All right, here's your source for George III. This is him on the money. This is him on the money. This is called the Barbados penny. The Barbados penny, and it's got an image of George III right here on the money. All right, and this is an image of the royal court of George III. All right, now the reason that this family, this was called, they were known as the Hanovers, right? They were from Germany. Now, what happened with the Hanovers and how they fell out of power in Great Britain is that they were marrying into the family of oppressors, right? So George III's son, I think his name was William, married an oppressor's daughter, right? So his son married an oppressor's daughter, and they had a daughter. So George's son married an oppressor's daughter, and they had a daughter. This is Victoria. All right? This is Victoria. Now, her father died when she was young, and she was raised by her mother, a white woman, right? And she ended up marrying her mother's nephew, right? She ended up marrying her mother's nephew, and they had a son, which would be an oppressor, which would be an Edomite. His name was Henry VII, and that is how the oppressors took over the last royal black family in Europe, marrying into the families. Again, she ended up marrying her mother's nephew. They had a son, which would be an Edomite. His name was Henry VII, and Henry VII took the throne in 1901, and it's been a so-called white or Edomite royal family lineage in Britain ever since then. Henry is where like Queen Elizabeth and them come from. All right. But as we can see, Victoria right here, she would be what the world would call a mixed race. All right. Or a mulatto or whatnot. All right. So we're going to finish it. We're We're going to finish the breakdown with a scripture. We're going to finish the breakdown with a scripture. All right, it's going to be in the book of Job. The book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. Book of Job 9:24. All right. Book of Job 9, verse 24, it said, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. After the Dark Ages, the earth was definitely given into the hand of the wicked. And like I said, the final black royal family to rule Europe was in Great Britain, the Hanover family. They lost the throne in 1901 because of interracial marriages. And it was given into the hand of the wicked. It says he covereth the faces of the judges. Covereth the faces of the judges because we never learned this in history class. We thought all these is white folk, right? But it turns out all the images I showed you were of the black royal families in Europe. So it says he covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So with that, all right, tune in for episode 4, which you didn't learn in history class. With that, Shalom, Yahweh B'Hashem, Yahweh Shai Barakatham to the brothers watching. Yahweh Shamar Alatham B'Hashem, Yahweh Shai to the sisters. Dismiss.